You always know it's going to be a good day when a box shows up on your porch from Insta360. The power and performance we've all come to expect in top-of-the-line action cameras is now available in an even smaller package. This is the Insta360 Go 2. It is super small, seriously no bigger than my thumb, but it packs a powerful punch that make it able to compete with some of the larger top-of-the-line action cameras. Obviously, they've had to cut away some of the less important features in order to pack it into a camera body this small, but I think they've done a really good job at getting rid of the less important features, but actually maximizing some of the more important features. So we get pretty good resolution, incredible image stabilization, and actually pretty good low light performance. I will talk more about the specs in this camera in a minute, but first I just wanted to get outside, shoot some footage so you guys can see firsthand what this camera is capable of. Then we'll talk about specs, and then I'll finish out this video by showing you all of the cool camera accessories that came with this that give it extra functionality. By the end of this video, you're probably gonna want one, so there'll be links to it in the description below. All right, I'm gonna head outside. All right, the footage that you're seeing right now is being recorded with the Insta360 Go 2. I've got my one wheel, I'm gonna go right around.
I look back at the time long gone, all the weekends lost to the working song. Chalk it up, a dream to be made, no price tag marks how hard I've slaved. Now I can't go back and start again. No, it's not that easy, don't pretend. No, I don't know why I do it when I make my grave in the dollars I don't spend. Dollars I don't spend. Hold on to love, it's up to you.
I'm really impressed with how good that footage looks, especially considering how dark it was when I filmed all of that. The sun was just about to go down and there was a thick cloud cover, so it was pretty dark out there while I was filming, and I think the footage turned out looking really good, especially considering that some of the bigger action cameras that I've used didn't even handle low light that well. Like, they'd look great when it was bright, harsh sunlight, and then as soon as you lost any light, the quality would just drop. So the fact that this little tiny camera is handling the low light was the first thing that impressed me. I was like, whoa, that's impressive. The second thing that I noticed right off the bat is obviously the crazy image stabilization. They've put a round sensor in this camera, and then they digitally crop in for your 16:9 aspect ratio, which means that that aspect ratio can turn 360 degrees on the sensor and correct any rotation of the camera that's happening. So here's an example. So over here you'll see what the Go is seeing, and turn it all the way upside down, and you won't be able to see any of that in the footage from the Go. So that's why the image stabilization is so incredibly good on this camera. Just from what I'm seeing so far, I feel like this is probably even better stabilization than most of my other action cameras. Alright, let's talk about specs. So with the best image stabilization turned on, we're looking at 1440p at 30 frames per second. 1440p is a little over half of what 4K is, so it's a nice step up from 1080p. I've even played these videos back on my big screen back here, and they look pretty decent even when they're that big. Now there's a setting where you can turn the image stabilization onto a basic mode, which no longer accounts for horizon leveling, but it still does a really good job at stabilizing. Then we can still be shooting at 1440p, but boost the frame rate to 50 frames per second. And then if we do actually drop the resolution down to 1080p, then we can be shooting at 120 frames per second for some nice slow-mo shots. The videos are recorded at 80 megabits per second. Now for photos, we're looking at 9 megapixel photos. They're not super high resolution, but they are taken in DNG RAW. So here's a few examples of some photos that I took with the Insta360 Go 2. This is what they look like straight out of camera. And then here is after I applied a few simple edits in Lightroom. I was able to really brighten these up, add in some color without losing quality because they are taken in that DNG RAW format. I don't really see myself taking a lot of photos using the Go because my phone takes better photos, but I will be using the Go for videos because my phone doesn't come anywhere near the image stabilization that the Go has. This has 28 gigabytes of internal storage. It does not have room for a micro SD card, but the 28 gigs is enough for quite a bit of recording. Now the camera, because it's so tiny, it does have a tendency to overheat, and so they limit how long the recording of each clip is. For normal recording, you have 10 minutes before the camera's gonna shut off and you'd have to restart it. There is an FPV mode that lets you record for 30 minutes, and the reason that you can record longer in FPV mode is because if you have this mounted on an FPV drone, it's gonna be flying through the air and all of that wind passing by it is gonna keep it cooled down and keep it from overheating. So you can go up to 30 minutes in FPV mode, and it can go up to 110 minutes when you're shooting at time-lapse, so almost 2 hours is gonna give you a decent time-lapse. It has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, so you can connect to it with your phone and both control the camera and also get a live preview of what the camera is seeing streamed to your phone. All right, let's take a look at the accessories. Actually, the first thing I want to show you is on the camera itself. They've given us this tiny little lens filter that threads on here. I really appreciate that they did this. This isn't a feature you usually see on action cameras, but it's so nice just to know that if you scratch your lens, you're just scratching this replaceable UV filter. You can get a replacement for it and you'll be back to shooting videos through a nice clean lens. So really appreciate that they did that. Now looking at the charging case, they've added a ton of features to this. So first off, it hinges open and the camera magnetically snaps into the charging case. The charging case not only charges the camera while it's plugged in, but when it's unplugged, it has a battery in it that will continue to top off the camera battery and keep it charged throughout the day. It also doubles as a remote. It even has this tiny little display on here so you can see what camera settings you're currently on. So if you're trying to vlog and film yourself, the case is going to act as a nice little handle to hold on to. It also continues to control the camera even after you remove the camera from the case. Whether it's Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, I'm not sure exactly, but it just automatically stays connected and you can continue to control the camera remotely. And there's even more features of this charging case. If we flip it over, you'll see there's these little arms that pop out of here and make it into this super tiny, cute little tripod. We can swivel the top here, angle the camera how you want it. And they've given us a 1/4-20 thread here on the bottom so you can actually hook this case directly to your tripod. I think it's super cool just how many features they've packed into the charging case itself. Now moving on, we have the lanyard. This just goes over your head, behind your shirt, and the camera can magnetize to that for a chest mount. This is just a really simple mounting plate that's compatible with all of your other action camera mounts. This is a head mount that clips on the bill of your hat. Check it out, I got an Insta360 hat. Not sure if this is actually available for purchase or if they just sent it to me because I'm one of their advertisers, but at any rate, this is going to be compatible with any other hat as well. This even has a little swivel action going on here. You can adjust the pitch of the camera. Now this mount kind of serves two purposes. Number one, it can just be a handle to use if you want to be underwater because the charging case is not waterproof. So you'd need to use this instead. It also has a removable back here, which will reveal a little sticky plate so you can connect this to windows or any surface pretty much. And the cool thing is that it's reusable. You can peel it off, and most peel off things end up getting covered with dirt just while they're sitting on your shelf, but that's why they've given you this little cover that can slide on here and actually keep that clean and ready to use another time. This also has a swivel ball head mount on it so you can swivel the camera around in any direction. This is a camera I really recommend to you guys if you're looking for a new action camera. Definitely consider this. Like I said before, links in the description below. Go watch some of my other videos right here, and I'll see you guys next time.